Welcome to Z's and Threes, part 4 of Where It All Went Wrong. Our 4-part series. This is the final chapter examining where it all went wrong for the 29 teams that failed to win an NBA title last season. And for the teams that did not win, this is the most painful of the bunch. 5 teams that maybe if you made one little tweak, a change to a series of plays within a game, a sequence of events, an ill-timed injury, one small thing, and one of these 5 teams could have been hoisting the Larry O'Brien Trophy and celebrating with the championship parade in their town. At the end of this chapter, we will have covered all 29 teams. We began in part 1, doomed from the jump, 9 teams that had no chance from the get-go of winning an NBA title. If you want to know why and you haven't watched part 1, go back, check that out. Part number 2, 7 teams whose seasons went by the wayside due to injuries. Then in part 3, we talked about the 8 franchises who have secured a plot for a house in Title Town, but they are not quite there yet. They are building and they have their sights set. Who are those 8 teams? Go back and watch part 3 to find out. So this, our final look at what was in the NBA for the 24-25 season before we then set our sights forward for the coming season, tipping off in October. If you like the series, you like the show, Z's and Threes, please do like, subscribe, share with a friend. We always appreciate y'all's support. Part 4, the final installment of Where It All Went Wrong, Maybe If, from Z's and Threes, presented by Contract Year. The Milwaukee Bucks. This is a team that easily could have found themselves in the medkit category with the late season injury to Damian Lillard and also the continuing injuries to Chris Middleton that eventually led to his trade to the Washington Wizards, or even the doomed from the jump group if you did not believe in their roster construct. The Milwaukee Bucks were the first NBA champion that fell victim to this second apron salary cap parity era realities, which led to the eventual trade of Drew Holiday. Part of that underachievement in the playoffs. We will get to that. But they find themselves in this part 4, maybe if, as a nod in respect to the season and level of play displayed by Giannis Antetokounmpo. I watched him play in the Eurobasket today. He continues to be the most physically imposing and dominant player in the world. This past season, 30.4 points per game. That tied his career best. 11.9 rebounds and 6.5 assists, which also tied a career best. Secured his 7th consecutive first-team All-NBA award for the 2-time MVP that any other year would have gotten his 3rd. But that title this group won in 2021, that is now a long time ago. Half a decade is eternity in the NBA. 3 consecutive first-round exits now for the Bucks. They've had a ton of turnover in the head coaching position and now within the roster. This year it was in 5 games to the Pacers, eventual Eastern Conference champs. But in this series, Giannis was the leading scorer in every game -1. The one he didn't do it, Game 5, in which Gary Trent Jr. went off. It was the OT loss in which the Bucks collapsed and Indy secured the series. So how much lay at the feet of the Greek Freak in their failure to advance deep into the playoffs? Well, he did not play in 23-24 due to injuries. That was a 6-game loss to the Pacers. You go back to 22-23, he played in just 3 games. That was a befuddling 5-game loss to the 8-seed Miami Heat. Now, granted, Miami goes on to the NBA Finals. But losing in that first round as the 1 series ultimately saw the Giannis, Middleton, Drew Holiday, Mike Budenholzer title-winning quartet broken up. Thankfully for Giannis, he has that title in 21, but for a player of his caliber and decoration and his career to come to conclusion, is 1 title going to be enough? Has Giannis had enough help come playoff time? Well, this year, clearly no. But he also hasn't been able to help himself as injuries have plagued him throughout these playoff runs. And that's a shame because Giannis is already one of the game's all-time greats. And I would love to see Giannis and the Bucks go on another deep playoff run. For the Golden State Warriors and their dynasty where it all went wrong in their pursuit of their 5th NBA title last season, well, that is simple. Maybe if Steph Curry, the greatest shooter and greatest warrior of all time, does not get injured in game number 1 of the semifinal round against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Man, how fun would it have been to see the all-time best three-point shooter in Steph Curry go up against last year's three-point king in Anthony Edwards. Could the Warriors have won that series with a healthy Steph Curry? And if so, advancing to a Western Conference Finals against the Oklahoma City Thunder, what would that matchup have looked like? All the experience of Steph Curry and Draymond Green, along with Jimmy Butler, against the youth and inexperience of the Oklahoma City Thunder. We will never know. It's one thing in a season to see your team go down when they are at full strength, but in the case of the Warriors, to see your star go down and not come back, well, that really hurts. The Houston series was just a small glimpse of what the Warriors could have been with a 1-2 punch of Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler. For Steph, it was the fewest playoff games, just 8, that he has played in seasons that the Warriors have made the playoffs, going all the way back to the 2013-2014 NBA campaign. The hamstring strain in Game 1, just 12 minutes in, took him out. He did not play again in the series. The Warriors won Game 1. They threw the kitchen sink at the Wolves across the rest of the 4 games, but eventually dispatched in 5. So where does that leave things for the 4-time champs and the dynasty of the Golden State Warriors with Steph Curry and Draymond Green? Steph will be 36 heading into this season. You have to ask, how many seasons are left in the tank for Steph being the focal point of the Golden State Warriors? I don't think he plays anywhere else in his career. And it's not as if he's going to lose his ability to shoot. The Warriors are still reluctant to give up on Jonathan Kuminga, but still unable to properly integrate him into the fold to give the Warriors a punch needed to advance deeper in the playoffs. Jimmy Butler, his first full season coming as a Warrior. Draymond Green still bringing his grittiness, and Steph Curry. But the Warriors' coming season very much has a last dance type feel to it. Can Steph Curry write his own ending with another championship? Well, this last season, it all went wrong for his Warriors when he went down. The LA Clippers, where it all went wrong, well, this team is the definition of maybe if. It just gets worse and worse as we go down the line for these 5 teams. Because this season, the stars finally aligned for this group in Kawhi Leonard and James Harden. Literally, their stars healthy for a playoff push. Add on top of that a stellar season from their supporting cast. Career year from Ivica Zubac. He had a case to make All-NBA, 3rd team. He was the league's leading rebounder. And Norman Powell, dubbed the air fryer by yours truly, who had a strong case to be an all-star. He was beaten out by his teammate, James Harden. And this was the idea for Clippers Nation, Steve Ballmer, Lawrence Frank. Get to the playoffs with your big names healthy and ready to make a run. If you remember, they had an epic Game 82 overtime affair, a play out of the play-in against the Warriors. The win for the Clippers secured them their 50th win of the season. That tied them with the Lakers and the Nuggets for 50, but they did not have the tiebreak. It put them in the 5 seed. And would that prove to be the difference? So if the Clippers would have won just one more game in the regular season, how different their playoff road could have been, because Denver held home court for that epic 7-game series in the first round. Where it all went wrong, well, you can chalk it down to 2 places. What if the Aaron Gordon dunk to win Game 4 doesn't sneak in under the buzzer? But it comes down to a winner-take-all Game 7. And where it all went wrong in that one, Game 7, James Harden. In spite of his 13 assists, a 2-for-8 shooting performance, and that's not going to go a long way to help you beat the Game 7 allegations. That continues to be his story, and it continues to be the story for the Los Angeles Clippers with their now 3rd consecutive first-round exit. This year was the year. Harden, healthy, all-star. Kawhi Leonard, 2-time Finals MVP, healthy, ready to make a push. Career years from Zubac, Powell, the supporting cast, but it was a brutal first-round matchup for both teams that could have easily been a Western Conference Finals had the bracket looked differently. It's probably the best series in the playoffs, maybe outside of the finals. It had epic games through and through. But once again, the Clippers, Steve Ballmer, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, their fans are left to wonder, but maybe if. The Denver Nuggets, there is no team that is better theater than this group right now. Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, and now the recently departed Michael Porter Jr. We've seen it going back across the entirety of their time together. Game 7s, walk-off, game winners, epic moments. This is what the Nuggets do. They are a roller coaster of emotions, and what a roller coaster of a season it was. Yet another MVP caliber offering from the already 3-time winner in Nikola Jokic. Yet Denver is up and down all season long. They have befuddling losses. They lost twice to the Wizards, one in which the Wizards snapped their 17-game losing streak in spite of 56 points from Nikola Jokic. And probably the best contest of the regular season in terms of drama, a double overtime late season loss in overtime to the Wolves that will forever be remembered, for better and worse, as the defining moment of Russell Westbrook's 1 year as a Denver Nugget. It was a loss that led to 3 more consecutively and nearly spiraled the team's season. But what does owner Josh Kroenke do? A shocking firing of both head coach Michael Malone and GM Calvin Booth, who famously could not get along. Just under 2 years removed from a title with just 3 games left in the regular season. What do the Nuggets do? They rally around their interim head coach David Adelman, and they win their final 3 regular season games, good enough to secure the 4 seed and home court advantage to begin the NBA playoffs. So you have an interim head coach, now the full-time head coach, with no playoff experience going up against Ty Lue, widely regarded as one of the best in the business. Well, we know how that went. Denver finds a way to grit it out and win an epic 7-game series. But where it all went wrong for the Nuggets, look to a moment within that series. Michael Porter Jr. sustains a shoulder injury. And what is the alternate timeline and universe for these Denver Nuggets and for Michael Porter Jr. if he does not sustain that shoulder injury? Do the Nuggets end up beating and prevailing against the Thunder? Is Michael Porter Jr. still a Denver Nugget? Does Michael Porter Jr. not go on his epic podcast run of this summer? We'll never know. Also, look at the injury to Aaron Gordon, who had moment after epic moment across the playoff run. The walk-off alley-oop dunk game winner against the Clippers in Game 4. The made three-pointer for Denver's epic comeback win in Game 1 of the Thunder series. But where it all went wrong for the Denver Nuggets, on top of those injuries, on top of not having enough depth to surround Nikola Jokic, it was the 2 blown double-digit leads in the fourth quarter in both Games 4 and Game 5 against the Thunder. Denver Nuggets fans, Nikola Jokic fans, will be left to lament, maybe if. The Indiana Pacers. This will go down as one of the biggest maybe-ifs in NBA history. Their magical run to the NBA Finals for their second time as an NBA franchise, highlighted by moment after moment from Tyrese Halliburton, a man who was voted most overrated in the league earlier in the season by his peers. He let his game speak, and he takes his team to 1 win away from an NBA title. Game 7 in Oklahoma City. 8:33 in the first quarter. Tyrese Halliburton made 3. Next possession down. Halliburton made 3. 7:01 in the first quarter. Tyrese Halliburton made 3. Oklahoma City timeout. Are we in for an all-time NBA great performance in a Game 7 to win a title? At the 5-minute mark is where it all went wrong. Came into the game with a calf injury and he wanted to give it a go, and can you blame him with a chance to win a title? A thing that you may never have a chance to do again in your career, and it was an injury that made you feel physically sick to your stomach. To watch him go down on that floor, the pain that he was in, and know that it was over. Kudos to his teammates with their leader in the locker room. They fought down to the very end, but in the end, they did not have enough. You can also rewind to Game 4 on their home floor with a chance to go up 3-1 for where it all went wrong. They were down 2 at the 2-minute mark and do not make another field goal for the remainder of the contest. But wait, neither did the Thunder. The difference, 3 Benedict Mathurin missed free throws. Oklahoma City goes 7 of 8 from the stripe in the final 2 minutes, and the Pacers are left to lament what could have been. If they would have won Game 4 and gone up 3-1, are they hoisting their first ever Larry O'Brien trophy? And was Tyrese Halliburton on his way to an epic all-time Game 7 NBA Finals performance that would have secured his team the title, and he would have been Finals MVP? Well, maybe if, but that is not the way it went. That is where it all went wrong for 29 teams across the NBA. As it is for every season, only one team got it right, and that is the Oklahoma City Thunder, behind a historic defense and a historic MVP season from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They capture their first title in Thunder franchise history. But now, the expectation is, can they do it again? A young core, all signed. All the major pieces are returning. Dynasty is the word thrown around. Can they buck the trend in this parity era? Remember, 7 different champs across the last 7 seasons. It's the most diversity in title winners in NBA history. Will the Thunder be the first back-to-back champs since the Warriors in 17-18? Well, that is what we will examine in our next 4-part series, Getting It Right. Season previews for all 30 NBA teams and realistic expectations for each and what it will take to meet them. A 4-part series just like Where It All Went Wrong, debuting September 26, taking us all the way through preseason basketball and on to opening night on October 21st. In the meantime, keep it locked to Season 3's coming episode of the Signature Sneaker Showdown. Some unfinished business there. Eurobasket updates and a special USA vs. the World episode as this coming season. That is the format we will see for the All-Star. As always, we appreciate you rocking with us, Z's and 3's. If you like the series, you like the show, please do like, subscribe, share with a friend, and we will see you back here next time. Peace.